Go.
Did it?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Why do I get an uh-oh? It's a little.
No, Cassie?
No.
Well, thank you.
I just turned it down. Yeah, record his whole boy. He said his name was Tom. I was like, 58. Yeah. 44 seconds. I called him.
44 seconds?
The trailer's not there.
Man, we're like clock watching. We're like clock watching.
Minutes on the dot. Didn't get anything. It's pretty close.
This tonight, isn't it?
Gosh, it's all you did really time.
Yeah, when it fell off,
Real front heavy, if you don't have something there.
I put it back together.
Yeah, 659.
You're like protecting all of it.
Me too.
You have to put it first.
That clock is pretty darn close.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
For that old, analog technology. What are your seconds, Tony? What are your seconds? We're ready to go.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, all right.
Drop the puck.
We drop the puck. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you take a roll, please?
Councilman Mattson?
Here.
Councilman Montoya?
Here.
Councilman Kaufman?
Here.
Councilman Allison?
Present.
Mayor Gray?
Here. You have before you an agenda that we need to amend under section D, number 3. Please add Eric Johnston. And I don't believe there's any further amendments. So, having said that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Moving on to the consent agenda, for the purpose of discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve and place to record the consent agenda items.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion on the consent agenda items?
Mayor, who seconded? Ellen, did you second that motion?
No, I did the agenda.
I made consent agenda, made the motion.
You made the motion, who made the second?
I made the
Oh.
motion and Alan seconded.
That was the agenda, the consent, I'll second the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was seconded.
I did my part, I don't. Of course, if you can. was that last meeting, apologize, I missed that last meeting. Where are we at with progress of the bid process for landscaping at Black Mountain?
So, I think it was Friday or this morning, ECI did contract with Carlos Garcia.
Okay.
So I heard
We're
that,
moving along.
yes, it's moving along. We've been told about they had somebody to come fix sprinklers. Don't know if that was true, because they never showed up. A couple of those rainy days, ECI had some of their employees fixing sprinklers, but we had call outs all weekend, heard from that because sprinklers were not fixed. So I didn't get an update on that today, but I'm hoping Carlos just takes over the sprinklers too.
You said contract or you just bidding it?
I think he contracted with ECI for work.
Will you be able to have privy to that if we have more stuff that comes up? Is there an open that he can add to it?
I don't know what,
Well, I mean, if he just writes, is it just a firm one-time contract?
not our, it's with.
No, that's why I'm asking if you as a town, are you privy to look at it too?
No, as long as he gets the job done, you know.
If new stuff popped up is what I'm talking about, or additional work.
Well, he has
You
the
have any
obligation
idea?
to fix it, you know, under the.
ECI does, okay.
Yeah, and I think if something comes up, Alan, outside of that, sorry, Councilman Matson, comes up outside of that, that if it's not taken care of, we can take care of it and we can invoice ECI.
Okay, yep, I was just wondering in case seems like stuff just keeps coming down.
Are you hearing of some more?
No,
Okay.
I don't want to jinx it either. So I know it's nice, hopefully, I know Preston did a great job with that spreadsheet of all the open items and stuff, so that's good.
If you hear something, let me know, but we did think several of the sprinkler issues were fixed last week, but they weren't. And so we were working on that this morning, but I didn't get an update before the end of the day today, so trying to stay on top of that.
And I was gonna ask about the cutout of Mariposa, but I just drove across it 20 minutes ago, so tell Toby thanks for adding more water to it. Because it was
it bad?
rattling your teeth pretty good, and I was hearing a lot about it, so.
Okay.
But this is, I came off the interstate this evening, I felt way better, so tell him thank you.
And you said they're done boring?
Boring crew is done, yes.
Now it's fixing the mistakes.
Yeah, and pulling wire. I did have a couple other things real quick. The pool project, the resurfacing is done. That's been completed. Walter came in on Saturday and inspected it. And so that project is done, the resurfacing on that.
Good
And
for
then-
another 25.
Excuse me,
Good for another 25.
that's what supposedly, that's what you pay for. And then, building inspector is starting that 2024 summer cleanup event again this year, for Wheatland residents. We're gonna do it a little bit different. Instead of the little sections he did last year, he's gonna do west side of interstate, east side of interstate, and then they'll get the $50 voucher to take stuff out to the transfer station, so that'll be in June. So he started to work on that again, we'll get that advertised. But it worked well last year, so we're gonna do it again.
So what's the status of the backstop? Is Little League on schedule?
So I
Play
think,
up there? And then my second one to that is, maybe American talked to it, I was just wondering, how is the Legion field grass?
I don't know about the Legion.
Legion Field grass seems to be awesome.
Is it,
Yeah.
I just saw people,
Yeah,
teams out there, I didn't know feedback,
it's,
and it's been well received, so.
Oh, yeah, it's been very well received, and it's, like our kids that have played on it in the past, I mean, there's a ground ball hit to them, they're standing there not knowing it, I mean, it's coming at them instead of doing, I mean, yeah, no, it's a huge, huge improvement.
Slower.
And it looks, it's very eye appealing, it looks nice. I
Good.
mean, you have a nice level, yeah, it's,
And then on the Little League backstop project, that'll probably be a executive session discussion.
I don't know, the chief isn't here, but has to be mentioned. 2 weeks ago, we had an incident where we had a pursuit that came in from I-25 into town, ended up at the golf course. And we lost, well, we didn't lose, we damaged 2 police cars in this pursuit. The chief was in one of those cars trying to stop this vehicle. Once they did, they had a seizure of over 6,000 fentanyl pills, a gun, and some warrants for people in the vehicle. That 6,000 fentanyl pills is one of the largest seizures in the state of Wyoming. So, congratulations to those guys for getting everything handled. And they were assisting a sheriff and the highway patrol also. Kudos to those guys.
Is there any further discussion on the consent agenda items? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Moving on to petitions, memorials, proclamations, and public comment. We've got a couple of handwritten things in there in your packet for you. And let's see, how about Tracy, do you have anything you want to talk about in the
Sure, it's
public comment section?
real quick. Good evening. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read it, but there was an article, I believe it was in the Wyoming State Daily, and it talked about the American Rare Earth Company that has the lease out on Hallett Creek. They turned down an offer of $400 million to purchase that. And so from what I'm hearing, that's a good sign in terms of if it was a money grab, they would have kind of taken the money and run. But they obviously think it's worth more than $400 million. So they did turn that down. That was an offer from an investor that's Australian, that's like one of the richest women over there in Australia. I don't remember her name, but it's in the Cowboy State Daily if you want to read more details. Our total spring show, we had over 60 vendors. We had a really great turnout. I'd really like to thank the community for their support. We were busy all day, so I think that was really great to see. So hopefully people enjoyed the event as well. Like we talked about a little bit in the workshop, I'll work on that Wyoming Community Foundation grant application, and I'll get back with Candy in terms of what the competitive grant side of things looks like. And when I know they're different due dates, and so I'll find out about the logistics about that competitive grant. And then I heard you guys mention something about the Legion Field. I saw Eric Bolander, and he mentioned that it rained yesterday when they were playing, and that the field was great. He said it dried up really fast, and they were able to continue their game. He thought that in years past they probably wouldn't have been able to do that. And so he said it's working just like it's supposed to. So, did you have anything for me? Anything else that I could do? Okay, thank you very much.
Is there any other public comment at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 1, which is the Wyoming Community Gas Check presentation with Lorraine Albright and Darcy Johnson. These girls, they're dedicated, they do good work. The community distribution from Wyoming Community Gas for the Choice Gas Program this year is $10,972.41. So, big round of applause for the work that these two do in completing that presentation. Thank you for your dedication and your phone calls and time spent.
You're welcome. We have fun.
Because this helps in every little way. I mean, parks and community projects. So we appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fact is, the 10,972, is that the largest one to date, Candy?
I think so.
It is.
Each year it grows a little bit.
Second on the list is Tom Davis with Hoskinson Contracting. Did I say that right? Hoskinson?
Yes, Hoskinson, thank you. Yeah, good evening, Mayor, everybody, Mayor, City Councilman. So I just wanted to stop by and introduce myself. I'm the CEO for the Hoskinson Companies for Wyoming. So I run their construction company, their healthcare company, and the Twin Pine Bison Ranch. I'm from Lusk, Wyoming, is where I grew up. I don't live there anymore. I left and came back home here. I got a place in Cheyenne and a place in Gillette. But I just want to kind of share an update on Nessie's, on our plan there. We're going to go ahead and submit for a permit to renovate the building. We're going to start with exterior, siding, new roof, new windows, all of that. And we'd like to negotiate with the golf course owner to make the upper level back into a golf club, a pro shop, all the necessary things for a golf course. So I'm gonna be negotiating with them to make that happen, and then the lower level will be some kind of a club or something. We're still working through that. But we're gonna donate to redo the parking lot, bring that up to a good condition. So I'll be working with them. The project, the windows are probably about 12 to 14 weeks out once they measure them. So we started that. We've had some people over there doing investigating on the building for us, but we're working on that. And then as far as Harris Park Road, last year they completed phase 1 of the Harris Park Road. We're doing that. We have the design completed. The stakeholders have approved for phase 2 of Harris Park Road, so that'll take it up to the end of the county there, Platte and Albany County. So I'm taking bids to get that work done. And then my in-house construction earthworks crew will also put a bid in, and then we'll see how it looks. But we got approval last week from the stakeholders to move that project forward using an engineering firm out of Torrington. So both those pretty large projects that affect Wheatland are moving forward. So I just took over the ranch a couple of months ago for the Hoskins family. And then Kevin Gross here, a local guy, he's my day-to-day operations HR individual up at the ranch. So he lets me know every day what's going on if I'm not at the ranch. I'm usually here in Wheatland on Fridays. I try to spend Fridays at the ranch. Sometimes that changes depending on what's going on. So I'll be up there tomorrow. We're doing a lot of typical ranch work, right? Getting ready for the summer on the ranch. So we have about 18 employees at the ranch, so pretty decent size as far as what we do at the ranch. We have about 700 head of bison. So far, last count, we had 60 calves this year.
Yeah,
I think as of Friday.
We're expecting to get, 140 to 170.
Yeah, and we did bring in wood bison, if anybody knows what wood bison are, right? So typically Wyoming is the plains bison. Wood bison are larger, less aggressive bison, but they're much taller. I know one of the bulls we bought, his back is above the panel fences, so he's over 6 feet on the back. So he's pretty good sized bison. And the hope is that, we can breed some of them up there. We have 2 calves. We bought 6 bred heifers. 2 of them have calved so far. So pretty exciting stuff going on at the ranch. So any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so like Nessie, are you still having plans on making that like a restaurant?
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk to the owners of the golf club and really find out what do we need, what's the town need there. And then, we're open for discussion on what we need to do there. Yep. I just, I drove by it a couple weeks ago, right after, the day after the event there at the golf course, and, just the despair of it, I told the stakeholders, we need to get something done. It's not looking good. So we're gonna tackle the exterior right away and make it look better while we're planning the interior, right? I can always get the core and shell done, so it looks a lot better, and then we'll tackle the interior while we talk with the owners of the golf course to see what we need to do there.
That's great.
Okay? All right, well, thank you all.
Thank you. Item number 3 in this section is you, Eric.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, council,
And that's all it says is just Eric. So I guess you're gonna wow us with something here, aren't you?
I asked for a minute.
You're on the clock.
My name's Eric Johnston, and hopefully you remember me as your county commissioner a few years ago. I wanted to let you know that I will be a candidate for Senate District 6. And after redistricting, how the south end of the district used to be the county line, and then we went up into Converse County. Well, it got redistricted. Now the district stops at Glendo or the county line, and then goes down all like to about exit 25, and then around Cheyenne and all the way to Pine Bluff. So on there's Glendo and there's Pine Bluffs, and so that's the new district. And we're currently represented by a senator who lives in Cheyenne. There's competition in this race, and they're Cheyenne based, and I just wanted to remind you that my heart is in Platte County, and I am a thinker and a listener, and I can get some things done. So I do have a flyer. If
Absolutely.
I'll leave one for right here, the boss. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Good job, Ollie.
It's actually encouraging and exciting news. I'm tickled to hear that.
Yeah, thank you for running. I think that's good. We need some representation that knows the area.
Is there any other public comment at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to unfinished business. Item number 1, which is ordinance 849, which is an ordinance for continuing the optional 1% sales tax on third and final reading.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 849, ordinance continuing to the imposition of the optional 1% sales tax pursuant to the Wyoming State Statute 39-15-203.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Unfinished business item number 2 is the Steinhausen hangar purchase agreement.
What I'd like for you to do is, Mr. Steinhausen has indicated to our engineer, middle and lastly, he was acceptable, he accepted the price. I would just ask that you authorize me to go forward to present that to his lawyer to make sure that it's okay with them, and then have the mayor execute it if we get it to that point. I think it'll get there. It's just a matter of the purchase price is not going to be the problem. It'll probably be parts of the lease that will be the problem.
What's happening with the, I won't say the destruction or the storm that?
Well, he has, in the lease that we presented, he has so long to tear it down and rebuild it. He has to rebuild it.
He's rebuilding.
You just need a motion to make approval of the purchase agreement?
Just, yes, that I can present it to his attorney.
I'll make a motion that we accept the purchase agreement. That Doug can present that to the attorney.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, Doug, can I abstain? Being my company's listed in this purchase agreement? Or is it not?
It doesn't
Or for
matter.
disclosure, I guess I
You can vote.
okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry for the purchase agreement. Do you want us to act on the lease or let's?
No, it's part of the purchase. If you look at paragraph 2, he has to accept both at the same time.
Okay, right.
Mayor, can I reiterate that motion, just to make sure? Because what I put down was authorize Attorney Weaver to present to Mr. Steinhausen's attorney, and if acceptable, authorize the mayor to execute the agreement.
Yep.
Yep. All right, we'll move on to new business, item number 1, which is Vineyard Simple Subdivision with Planner Dumont. I do not see Doug.
I think I can talk to this.
Okay.
So this is a request for a simple subdivision within a mile of the town of Wheatland. So it's a request to the county, but it has to come to the town because it's within the 1 mile.
It's in the halo.
And so Rod and Trish Vineyard would like to separate and subdivide 12.36 acres out of the northern portion of their 225.17 acres located at 69 East Oak Road. Rod and Trish would like to have this subdivision with the option of selling the newly 12.36 acre parcel, which will retain the residents on the property apart from the remaining acreage for agricultural purposes. And I look back at what we've previously done is do make a motion on this that you support it or you don't support it. But it is actually a county decision, but they go with taking reference your recommendation. We did, Jeannie Mitchell had contacted the FAA about this, about having a residential subdivision near the airport. But after talking and looking into it, that's not what their plan is right now. They're just subdividing off the existing house and it's zoned agriculture.
Existing structure.
And the FAA says they can recommend, but they can't, they have no say. This is.
It's already there. I mean, it's at the end of that, and then the part closest to Bellis Road and the airport, he's placed a sprinkler pivot right there. And so if they ever wanted to develop that into residential lots, it would be a different purpose. We'd have probably a different discussion. But that's been there for quite some time, in that house and that 12 acres.
If you need a better picture of it, I did print one off.
I think it's very
See that?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Originally, it was Carolyn Marshall built it. The Marshalls, he worked at the plant and she ran the furniture store. And then Mark and Karen owned that property.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to support the Vineyard Simple subdivision from Planner Dumont.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion in support of the subdivision? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Utility easement request for Robert Hilty, which I believe was in your extra pile there.
If you know where the airport is, those 2 houses right on the south end of, right next to Antelope Gap, right next to the airport, there's that modular double wide, I call it double wide modular, it may be on a foundation now, and that little house to the west. The water line, actually, the tap or the meter is across our land over past the entrance to the airport.
It's like east of the little pilot's lounge.
Yeah, it's east of the pilot lounge. And so he wanted to run a separate line into that little house. I think it's the little house Mr. Hilty did, so he can have service and then sell it. It's been subdivided into 2 lots, the bigger lot and then that single one. And he prepared the description, which is the exhibit attached to that. And then it's only intended for residential water line easement.
So this line, is this gonna tie into
The little house.
southeast corner of lot 2A?
I think it's the 2B, isn't it? I don't know, Ellen. It's
It's
one or
like-
the other. They're just
it's 2B.
separating them.
It's 2B.
It would be 2B.
Yeah,
the
2B,
house,
yeah.
2A already has water.
They're running water off the same,
Oh, he
Tab.
wants to
separate
separate.
them so he can sell
Which makes sense, yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the utility easement request by Robert Hilty.
Moved, is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that gonna interfere with the hangar airport job?
them. No, it's actually perfect timing because if he digs it up, we're gonna redo that.
Yeah. It's just right along the property line. We won't be doing much right there anyway.
Right.
And I think he's gonna bore anyway, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
I think he's gonna bore under the entrance.
That's the dotted line.
So on Dan's map here, the new 12-foot utility easement, that's not the description.
I'm sorry?
The new 12-foot easement on the town of Wheatland Airport property. Extending to the east boundary of lot 2A. East corner of 2A. I guess I was a little confused about when he has new 12-foot utility easement on the town of Wheatland's airport property, there he's drawing that in.
I think it goes from the northeast corner there.
Well, it begins at the southeast corner of lot 2A.
But then it goes this way. It's gonna go that way. You see what I'm saying? I think it goes from there and then it goes east.
So I think it runs like along Leroy John's property, right?
Oh, I see what you're
You
saying.
see
North and south.
north and south and then comes east.
So on the easement, I mean, we're describing the encumbered property, which is the town's, but the easement's for the benefit of lot 2A.
Yes.
2B, I think.
2B, 2B.
And 2A already has.
2A already has water line. Remember, that water line was given, in fact, that long line goes all the way out to where Mr. Short owned a long time ago, and then Jason Query had it, and now I think the doctor now owns it. It goes along that line, that subdivision. Shorts used to own all that, and they made a deal with the town years ago, way before I probably was even born, that we supplied them water.
Would it be good for the benefit of the property that?
I don't think so. I think we're fine that way, because it shows where it's going, Alan.
Okay.
You didn't need to vote on it or go into.
Well, go ahead, I'm done.
Okay, all right, well, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Because you have a public hearing now.
Oh, that's right.
You.
So do I need a motion or do I just enter us into the public hearing?
Just go into the public hearing for the liquor license.
All right, we'll go into the public hearing, which is a legal notice for application of transfer of a restaurant liquor license Los Dominguez Restaurant LLC filed an application for the transfer of a restaurant liquor license from Olivia Dominguez to Los Dominguez Mexican Restaurant LLC. Is there anybody here to speak in favor or against? Hearing none.
Just need a motion to approve the transfer.
Make a motion to approve the application for transfer of the restaurant liquor license of Olivia Dominguez to Los Dominguez LLC.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry, and then just go back to our regular council meeting,
Yes.
which is resolution number 5-2024, which is setting fees and charges for public records request and services.
Mayor, this is a resolution we've been working on and researching, and we've spoke with other municipalities and gotten examples, everything to be able to do this. It's been in process for probably 6 months or more, maybe up to a year. It's just been something we've been working on. And so we've definitely done our research on it. Spoke with Attorney Jones, looked at Glendo's and some, other municipalities, so this is our recommendation.
I can tell you, it's probably inexpensive from, I think Torrington's, they add in, and I don't think you should, I'm not saying this. They add in the time the attorney reviews everything, along with all the retirements of every employee that touches all the taxes, and so theirs is a lot more expensive than what this is, and this is pretty reasonable if you want to know the truth.
Looks real reasonable, actually. Make a motion to approve resolution number 5-2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Moving on to ordinance number 850, which is an ordinance establishing business licensing for food service establishments, mobile trucks, units, and stands.
So this ordinance is first reading, so changes can be made. We included in the back with it the resolution on fees, which will be approved separately once we went through the 3 readings. So this has been a joint effort between building inspector Walter Martin and Tabitha and myself, mainly probably more on their part, so I have to give them credit. But we received, I did a WAMCAT request, and we got a copy of Sheridan's, Laramie, Cheyenne's, that's about, yeah, to get copies of theirs. So we took a little bit of all of theirs. We did not recreate the wheel, so this is taken from theirs. The restaurant part of it, a few months back, Walter had done, we had done a workshop where we discussed licensing the restaurants so we could inspect their grease traps and what's going into our sewer system.
I remember that.
And so we just added that into this ordinance, so it's all there. And we tried to reduce it as much as we could.
So before we issue a license, let's say to a food truck, will someone inspect it to make sure everything is copacetic?
And one of the requirements I think he has in here is to have a plan, like what are they gonna do with their dirty water, their grease, all of that. So we wanna know what their plan is to do with, where they're gonna dump it. So if their plan is to handle it back in Laramie, great, and then we see them down at our dump station, not okay. You know, so we wanna know their plans. It will be inspected, they'll have to have a permit, put it in the window. We went through this, tried to think of different scenarios. You know, what if this, you know, and then we talked about like Oktoberfest. Well, we didn't want each vendor to have a permit, so we did a community event permit. We are trying to think of every scenario.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Maybe you guys will think of something we didn't think of.
I do have a question on, be on the second page, on WMC 8040.050, food service license.
Uh-huh.
A says before any license or permit will be issued, an applicant must first have applied for a state Wyoming food service license. Well, if it's, I mean, you're not gonna issue that license until they actually get the application from the Wyoming Food Services, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to have that to operate, and they have those now.
Okay.
You know, all restaurants have them. I'm assuming all the food trucks have them. But yes,
That's Sherry.
that's Sherry Warner. Yeah.
Well, and I think in visiting with Sherry, I think part of the problem with the mobile side of things, if you will, and she was very encouraged to know that we were gonna put our brick and mortar businesses in this grouping as well for the grease trap. She said what this does is those places have a home of record and they pass inspection and muster there, but when they're mobile, they're not subject to anything additional. So this gives her the ability to like do a compliance or a spot check for the reoccurring ones that obviously our people patronize, and therefore if there is a problem, if she's doing her job, she'll catch it before it causes a sickness or an outbreak, or, you know. So she was very encouraged to see that Wheatland was going to do what everybody else is doing as well.
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance number 850 on the first reading.
Second?
And you said, we'll only go over the fee schedule on the third reading or
Well-
discuss further.
I mean, I included it in your packets. We can go over that tonight too. I just figured it won't be approved.
Or it
till
can be
third
discussed between now and
Yep.
third reading.
Yep. Absolutely. And we can discuss it every reading. I won't have it separate on the agenda until third reading.
And just, I guess for my clarification, from my own personal knowledge, is this fee scale kind of commensurate with what everybody else is doing around us?
Yeah, we talked to, yes, and this was definitely up to the council to decide how you guys want to do these, but this was, I want to say, staff's recommendation after talking to Cheyenne and, you know, some of these other communities. I will say, a lot of communities our size don't have food truck ordinances. It was the larger communities that have them. So we went off their fees. You know, they may have, we didn't find anything from the communities our size. But we are getting a lot of them, and I think it's good to know what they're doing and where they're coming from.
Sure.
All of that. And we also did talk to Christy Ritz about the sales tax reporting. You just have to trust that they're reporting, you know, if they're from Albany County, and when they do their reporting, that they're mentioning what sales came from Platte County. That's pretty much what Christie said.
And I think when you license those, they'll become more aware of the fact that that has to happen.
Like on the, and just touch it lightly, because we've got another 3 months or 3 readings, like the mobile food truck, mobile food unit, the food stand. I'm of the opinion that wouldn't be an annual permit, that would be a 30-day permit, because they're mainly here in the summer. There was just one in Safeway on Saturday and gone after 1 day. But if they want to come in this, maybe they just buy a 30-day permit, and because some of them aren't here in the winter, there's the, I guess you'd call it a mobile food unit over there at the country store, that's not year round. So why would you buy an annual permit? They're kind of, different ones are seasonal, so just something to think about in the next few readings.
There's a 14-day permit.
And we did the 14-day permit for, like, we were thinking about fair and that sort of thing, is what we were thinking about there.
But that would cover the same thing he's talking about too, though, right?
Yes, I think so, Tony, for those shorter periods of time, yeah. The other thing you have to remember, and it's up to you guys, you have about the same cost and the same work, whether you have a 30-day permit or a year permit, because it's all gonna be on the front end of this deal, and then watching them and making sure, so you don't gain much by saying, here's a 30-day permit, but that's up to you guys, I think.
I like a 3-day fishing license versus annual.
And the other side is then they forget they have a 30-day permit and the town forgets they have a 30-day permit. I can guarantee you that will happen. So you might as well just say if you want to.
You're going to see them just appear on the weekend. Someone's got to be checking in them, whether it's PDs, if they've got their permit.
But if we already know they have a year permit, they don't have to worry about weekends. But it's up to you guys. It just makes enforcement a lot easier if you say, we have these permits, and if you're gonna be here in and out, it's like the guy from Laramie. He comes in every so often, not, maybe once or twice a month. Are you gonna?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to run them off or anything. I just think that there should be some sort of skin in the game when they come in and leave and are established restaurants, and knock on wood, we might be getting three additional things downtown, and then we're going to charge them annual fees, and they're already paying commercial utilities and they're paying their brick and mortar. I just think if these guys are going to come into town and take revenue from them, I'm not saying so much to run them off to say no, but $25. We got plenty of time to talk about that. I'm just talking, some of these fees, there's thousands of dollars that goes down Highway 34, but whatever. We got plenty of time to talk about it.
Somebody make a motion on
I
that?
think it's
Yeah,
been,
thank
yep,
Motion second.
and a second. If you got it, Candy?
Yeah.
All right. All in favor of ordinance 850 on first reading, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Moving on to, that will pass. Moving on to the construction agreement with Spot On Welding.
So this is an agreement with Spot On Welding to finish the project out at the Little League field. Which is pretty much done. We had to get it in place so they could have Little League.
Does he have all the bonding and the insurance and
Oh, yeah.
structural stamp?
Yep.
In our possession?
Yep.
Thank you.
This is good with you, Doug?
Yeah, I wanted some, I think, liability insurance on it, and they put that in there.
Whatever was in the contract requires, Walter has on file.
right, I would entertain a motion to approve the agreement with Spot On Welding.
Make a motion to approve the construction agreement with Spot On Welding.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Looks like we have a bid award for the South Street water main and the 11th Street sewer replacement.
So this, in your packets, we have the notice of award recommendation from John Wetstein of Engineering Associates. We received 3 bids, and the engineers have went through them. The low bidder is Superior Contracting, which is local. The combined bid total was $260,524.66. And so Engineering Associates recommends that we award this to Superior Contracting. And after speaking with Darren Hershey, looks like they would do the the sewer line in August and the water line in September.
Who are the engineering association? Who's that?
Who is that?
Yeah.
John Wetstein, he's been here a couple times to our meetings.
Okay.
He does like the
Sure.
water projects and stuff for us.
So is there any asphalt repair?
I don't think so, no. Well, on the 11th Street sewer line, maybe.
What was your question?
Asphalt repair,
Uh-huh.
is there any? And they're doing that?
They have a sub that will do it. That was included in their bid.
Just need a motion. Make a motion, we approve the South Street and 11th Street, South Street water main and 11th Street sewer replacement, awarding the bid to Superior Contracting for their total amount of $260,524.66.
Second.
More money.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You also have in front of you work order number 2023-01B, which is to reconstruct the GA apron for design from Ardura Engineering.
This is a work order to add in the electrical engineering design for the taxiway lights. I actually printed out a map about that, but it's to redo the taxiway lights out there when they do the runway taxi lane or taxiway. And so they'll just do it all at once instead of making it in 2 separate projects, I guess. And to make a long story short, it'll be 1 project. This is also a grant that's, project that's funded with FAA and state funds. I think our match on this is 6%.
You need a motion on this one?
Yes.
I'll make the motion to approve work order 2023-01B.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. You have in front of you a cooperative agreement between the Wyoming Department of Transportation and the town of Wheatland for 16th Street water and sewer lines.
So this is our second agreement with YDOT on the 16th Street project, and this is just for the water and sewer. So Engineering Associates, they engineered all of the water and sewer. And so that will, once that's 100% complete, that will be turned over to YDOT. And then they will include that in the entire project. So then we won't have multiple engineers, multiple contractors. It will be all under the umbrella of YDOT. So this is YDOT's agreement of what they're going to pretty much charge us to oversee the water and sewer portion of the project. Yes, and it's the downsized portion, Cedar Street to Swanson. And we didn't know this was coming. This isn't a surprise.
I'll make a motion to approve the cooperative agreement with YDOT from 16th Street water and sewer lines.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You also have in front of you the engagement letter for Klinger Hagerman for the fiscal year 23 audit.
It should be 24, I'm sorry. I'm going back in time. It should be fiscal year 24 audit.
24 audit.
So it's on the back page. The cost is $29,000 for the financial statement, the audit, and $2,100 for the preparation of the Form F-66. Plus then they charge us a little bit more when they help us with our electric report, our annual electric reports. They help us with our depreciation. Same as previous years.
Make a motion to approve the Klinger Hagerman fall year 24 audit engagement letter.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Oh, it looks like we have an executive session. So before the crowd leaves, I would like to state that we have continued budget workshops on Wednesday, May 15th, Thursday, May 16th, and then our final one will be on the 22nd of May, with the hearing on June 10th, and then the adoption later during that council meeting that night for the budgetary stuff coming up. Which also, the next scheduled meeting for the regular council meeting will be June 10th as well. We need
I
to,
have to make a motion to, executive session. It's to update on some potential litigation on some projects and then also personnel issue.
Make a motion, move into executive session.
Josh got the second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you for coming. Don't be a stranger.
I'm trying not to be. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Eric.
It's